But you guys, today we're taking a look at how to fix an SD card not showing up on any device. Try these steps that I'm going to show you in this video. So this is a microSD card, but it could be an SD card that is not showing up on a mobile, camera, PC or tablet or any of these devices, or even on your computer. If you can't see it and it says no media error like this one shows, then it could be that the memory card has actually failed and you will need to take it to a specialist to be able to recover data on it. It's not cheap, but if it is precious information on that card that you need to recover, then that might be the only option. But let's take a look at some of the options you can try yourself. The first thing is to clean the SD connectors on here. These little gold connectors sometimes get really grubby, and you can sometimes use some isopropyl alcohol and a cotton bud just to clean these up if they're really grimy and dirty. And sometimes when they get debris on them, they lose connection on the device that you've got it plugged into. So just clean it up and then dry it off with one of the other Q-tips on the other end. Once you've tried this, you can plug it into one of these adapters like this and plug it into your computer and see if it gets detected. If you've tried one adapter, maybe try another memory card adapter or reader to see whether the card is recognized in that adapter, because the actual adapter might be broken. So you might want to try swapping one of these out for another one just to see whether it works. If it doesn't and you're still getting the same problem, it could be that the card is bad and you need to replace it or get the data recovered on it. Now I've plugged it into the computer and you can see it's not actually detected as of yet. It will suddenly show up. It takes a bit of time, but then all of a sudden it just shows you the actual drive letter all of a sudden like this. Unfortunately, in my case, I can't access the drive. So I can't double click on this and access it or open it because I get an error code saying, please insert the disk into a USB drive. So maybe the USB device or adapter is broken and you'll need to try another one. If that's the case, then it might suddenly work. In this case, it's not. I've tried multiple different devices and it still doesn't work. If you look in disk management, if you right click on the start button and go to disk management, you'll see the actual drive does have a letter on it, but it says no media. A no media error means your computer or phone sees the card reader slot, but it cannot read the actual storage chip inside the microSD card. This usually points to either a bad connection, a broken card reader, or a dead storage controller on the card itself. So things are looking pretty bleak for me, and it might mean that I need to take this to a specialist to be able to recover the data on that card. Now, if it doesn't have a drive letter, you can right click on it and change the drive letter and path. This will sometimes make the card visible. So if it doesn't have a drive letter, give it a drive letter. Normally use something like Z or X or something like that. This won't work on my microSD card because obviously it's a controller issue probably, and this is why it's not being detected. If it does already have a drive letter and it's still not being recognized and it still won't populate on the computer, then there might be something wrong with the card. What you can do is go over to the computer here. You'll see that we do have the drive letter, but it just won't let us access all of the data on that card. Now, of course, that means that it doesn't matter what you do. If you have no media being detected, it means you cannot do data recovery with software. You can't do any commands in command prompt because it can't detect the actual drive. But if you do want to try and yours is in a different situation, then you might want to open up command prompt by typing CMD in the search. A prompt box will open like this, and then you can run check disk on that card to see whether it can fix any known issues with that card. The problem is if your card is on the way out and it's failing, then you don't really want to be doing any stressful tasks like this on the card because it could make the card fail completely. Now, the risk factor on this is pretty high because you are going to be running check disk on a card that could be failing. And when you run these commands on the card, it's going to do a stringent test on the card to try and fix it to make it visible in Windows. Now, this might work for a lot of people, but it could also ruin the best chance you have of getting the data off. So be very, very careful. My SD card reader problem is not going to be fixed using this method because it's probably a controller issue and it's not going to work because it can't see the actual card itself. So it can't run a scan on it. But if you do want to run this, you can run the check disk, and what it's going to do is scan the computer storage drive to check for integrity and the file system structure of that card to see whether it can fix it. Again, like I said, use this at your own risk. Check for errors with the built-in tool using this method. If you want, right click on the drive, go to properties, then tools, and click check. And again, this will check the integrity of the file system and sometimes fix it very quickly. Unfortunately, again, we don't know how bad your issue is with your card, so use with caution because it could completely kill your card and any data that you have on it. So use with caution if you do want to go down this path. Another thing might be write protected. If the actual card is write protected, it's not going to be able to be seen or accessed, and you can remove the write protected on that card. Sometimes there's a little switch and you can actually turn that switch off, and it will then suddenly allow you to gain access to the card. So on the control directory right here, we're going to right click on this and go new key, and then we need to give this new key a name. So let's go ahead and give this a name of storage device policies. So you can just basically type this out like so, and once that's done we can press enter. And on the right hand pane right here, we need to create a new DWORD 32-bit value key. So let's go ahead and do that right here. New DWORD 32-bit value. With that done, we'll need to give it a name. So let's call this write protect. So just type that out right here. I'm going to right click on this and rename. And we're going to call it write protect. Use the capitals. So write and then protect, all capitals, as I'll show you right here. And then we can double click on this. And you can see we want to set this as 0. If you already have the key there, then just put it on decimal 0, and that will turn that write protection off. Now, for some reason, if your data has suddenly disappeared on that particular microSD card and you want to try to recover it, you can use software to recover it. You can use this software right here, SD card recovery software. It's from Disk Drill. And it's not free software. You will need to upgrade to the Pro version to be able to recover your data. But when you open the software, you should see your microSD card listed here, or your SD card if you're using one of those. If it's not listed here like mine isn't, that's because it's broken and it's not being detected. It's going to need specialist PC repair shop to be able to recover data on that. You can check the smart monitoring of that card to make sure it's working properly. And you can choose the actual drive itself if it's visible and then do data recovery on it. You can't back up the data to the same drive that you're recovering it on. It needs to be backed up to a new location. And it just depends really on how important that data is to you. If you've got a lot of important data on there and you can see the drive itself and it's missing, then you might want to use data recovery software like this to be able to recover it. If you can't see it like I can't, and you can't access the drive, then it means the card has failed, and it will take a specialist shop to be able to recover the data on that drive. Normally, it's pretty successful. They normally can get the data off if you can't recover it using this method. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the data recovery process because my microSD card has failed, and it means that I need to decide whether I want to pay money to get that data back, or whether I just want to take the hit and basically move on with a new microSD card. Now, using data recovery software is pretty straightforward and easy to do, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than sending this microSD card off to a specialist to recover data. This can go into hundreds of dollars to recover data on that drive. I'll give you a bit of free advice. If your data on that drive is really, really important, then I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff on that drive at all. I would send it to a specialist to recover the data on that drive. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. Also, my name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who join my YouTube members group. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.